Councillors, can I have your attention, please? I welcome you all to this meeting of the Cardinia Shire Council and declare the meeting open. We will commence the meeting with the following reflection. I would ask those gathered to join us now for a few moments of silence as we reflect on our roles in this chamber. Please use this opportunity for reflection, prayer or thought to focus on our shared intention to work respectfully together for the well-being of our whole community. Thank you. The Cardinia Shire Council respectfully acknowledges that we are on the traditional land of the Bunurong and the Wurundjeri people and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Apologies, and I note that we have no apologies for this evening. Minutes of the previous meetings. Can I have a motion, please, to adopt the minutes of the previous meetings as listed? Councillor Kowalczyk and seconded by Councillor Wong. All those in favour, please raise your hands. I declare that carried. Thank you. Declarations of interest. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest to declare? There being none, we'll continue on to ordinary business. The items on today's agenda are as follows. Item 6.1.1, planning application for use and development of land at 1 to 3 Savage Street, Pakenham for a childcare centre, withdrawn by Councillor Ryan. Councillor Ryan, I understand that you have a motion that differs to the officer's recommendation. Can you please move your motion?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Yes, I do. I have a motion to refuse the planning application T210968.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Ross. I'll now go to the mover to speak first, Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. That the planning permit application T210968 for the use and development of land for a childcare centre at 113 Savage Street, Pakenham, be refused and a refusal to grant a permit be issued on the following grounds. The proposed use is inconsistent with the proposed purpose of the general residential zone, Schedule 1, in that it seeks to accommodate a non-residential use in an appropriate location and is use that is considered incompatible with existing residential uses surrounding the subject site. 2, the proposed use will have a detrimental impact on the local road network and supply of on-street parking within the surrounding areas. 3, the proposed use will result in unreasonable off-site amenities, impact to neighbouring and nearby properties, I apologise, Mayor, that are used for residential purposes, noise and safety. This application was listed for consideration at the Town Planning Committee meeting held on the 3rd of October 2022 and was deferred for further consideration at this meeting, and now we're bringing it forward. In this street, homes are all single resident properties, which this childcare centre is in an appropriate location and is used, and its use considered incompatible with the existing residents surrounding. Savage Street is a narrow and a dead-end street, and the other end is onto Henty Street, which is at a T intersection. There will be traffic congestion due to the issue caused by cars, four-wheel drives, turning around into residents' driveways or U-turns within the street. If cars are parked on both sides of the street, it leaves no room for emergency services or waste services, removalist trucks, taxi service, funeral directors, and any other service that needs to be going down into that street. Even with this being allotted the childcare 17 car parking spots on this property, most of them would be used by staff members, forcing parents to end up on the street parking. Just human nature that people park wherever they want to. This also causes residents to have less clearer view to drive out of their driveway. Safety issues for elderly residents walking on pathways, considering more traffic. At the moment, Henty Street is an only one-way traffic due to the LXRP development over the next 18 to 2 years or more. Congestion between traffic coming from Savage Street and Henty Street will cause a large congestion for traffic flow. It is within a centralised residential location and is adjourned to the Pakenham Town Centre. We're well aware of the property being there, and the significant roads are McGregor Road and Main Street, close to approximately close to Pakenham Station. The location of the proposed childcare centre, centrally located within a residential area adjoining Pakenham Activity Centre and easily accessible to Pakenham train station. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. I'll now go to the seconder, Councillor Ross, to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for withdrawing this, Councillor Ryan. Anyone who would go and visit the site can absolutely see that this is an unsuitable site for the childcare centre. It's going to have parking issues for sure. Pickups and drop-offs, as everyone knows, people come and go. It's a dead-end street. It's a residential street, and people would know that this area was designed decades ago, and it was built in a time when a lot of people didn't have a lot of cars at the time. You might have had 1 or 2 cars in a family. Now you might have kids living at home, you have extra cars. So the whole area is on overload anyway with cars trying to use it in a residential area. To put a facility in the middle of this area on a dead-end street is just totally inappropriate. We have far better areas inside our zoning, inside the urban growth boundary to put something like this in. And many sites we have under our DCPs which actually have them allotted and put aside. To try and wedge it into the middle of this residential area is just an overuse of the area, and it would put extreme stress on the people who live there, and it would not be within the character of the area. So therefore, I'll be supporting the refusal of this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. I acknowledge that this area doesn't have the greatest amenity and that there are residents with very reasonable concerns. We had 6 objectors and it makes it hard. The planning application was in fact supported by council officers. The council officers' assessment advised that the requirements of on-site parking and the capability of the surrounding transport network was sufficient. So I am in disagreement with the opinion shared by others calling it inappropriate. Right now, this site, it could be developed for many things. I think it's probably large enough for 6 or so double-storey homes. And previously a landowner actually applied for a boarding house. So a childcare centre, in my view, it's a much better option. And if I lived in this pocket of town, I'd probably pick this option of the 3. So if a refusal goes ahead and then the landowner decides I'm going to object and take it to VCAT, I think it's probable that council's refusal would be overruled, and then council will incur legal bills and the development would go ahead anyway. To the 6 objectors and the concerned neighbours, I do hear you, and I want to thank you for raising your concerns. We have considered these. I truly believe that if the permit was granted, that the development will actually improve your amenity. There'll be an increase, I believe, in having the site activated. So having more people around, it creates what's known as passive surveillance. The activity of a childcare centre, it's weekdays and daylight hours. That's a better outcome than perhaps a facility that was operating through the night or weekends. Cardinia as a shire, and especially the Pakenham Town Centre, it's rapidly developing. And I'm optimistic that this development, being a childcare centre, will be beneficial. And councillors, to conclude, in the event that Councillor Ryan's alternative motion is lost tonight, then I would like to move that Council approves the permit T210968 in accordance with the Council Officer's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. And just to confirm, you foreshadowed that in the event of that, the foreshadowing that she would propose that. So thank you, Councillor Davis. Would any other councillors like to speak to Councillor Radford first, and then I'll go to Councillor Warren.
Thank you. And thank you, Councillor Ryan, for bringing the residents' concerns to council. It's really important that they know that they are being listened to, and I thank you for that. There are definitely fors and against, and it's been a really hard decision for this. We do need some more childcare services, but I do believe that we can plan better for them. I've driven down the road and I do agree. I don't really see it as a suitable long-term space for this business. So I thank you for bringing it to council and for your proposed motion, and I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with my fellow councillors of Radford, Ross, and of course Councillor Ryan for bringing this proposed motion up to refuse. I know this road very, very well, and I respect the objectors, the 6 objectors who would live in this street, and understandably know why. This will attract delivery trucks. It'll attract a lot of traffic arrangements up and down this road, and it does get to a point. And I understand where the plan has come from, who I respect very, very highly in our shire, that they're going by the letter of the law of the book. But when it comes down to the practical arrangement that comes with these developments, it changes once they're in place. And even if it meets the requirements of the parking of the zone, that doesn't always mean that it becomes practical when the application's through and this has been built. We're trying to they're talking about putting a business. This is a business running it out of a residential area of a very small road. Even the intersection to get in and out of that road, and the road that's off Savage is going to be impacted by the amount of traffic. So I can't come to the grips that this is a good application. This is a good idea. Maybe down the track somewhere. Maybe when the development starts to increase around that section of Pakenham, and it will. Maybe down there it will fit into my mind of a good idea. But at the moment, I know that I've seen other childcare centres within our shire take it to the next extra level, where they will have parking and have the parking allotted, which is fine, but elect to put the actual the people that work there elect to put them in the street, so it allows enough room for the vehicles to be parked by the drop off and pick up of these children. So it's that's a matter of trust, I guess, when I think about it. But do I trust it? Do I trust the system? I think not in this case. And so I'll be supporting this refusal of Councillor Ryan. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. I'll go to Councillor Cameron next.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. I took a drive down this Savage Street. I got out of my car. I stepped out how wide the road was. It's 5 metres wide. I only drive a small car, and if a car my size and a car a similar size was parked side by side in the street, there would be 1 metre for anything to get through, and that would be a push bike. So the street is definitely not wide enough to accommodate all the traffic that will be accumulating in the area. Acacia Street, which runs off Savage Street, is also a dead-end street, so it will be severely impacted with traffic parking in their street as well. So I am not in support of this childcare centre being placed in this area. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? There being none, I might just share a couple of words myself. Look, I was very appreciative of last meeting, town planning meeting, when Councillor Ryan asked for a deferral for a couple of weeks to give us some more time to consider it. I utilised that time and took a trip down there myself to really observe the footing and everything, as other people have noted. And it is an interesting space down there. I have to have a lot of consideration on this, because these are a lot of older homes being quite established. And I look across, and within about 50 metres or something from this doorstep is where the Sky Rail is about to go up. It's like the centre of Pakenham. These homes, when they were first established as a residential area, it wasn't such a busy place, Pakenham, but it really is growing and developing. Look, I think there's a lot of focus here on the traffic concerns. I think if they are noted, just to note at this point in time, there's no restrictions on parking there. So anyone can park there that wants to park and walk to the train station or across to the shops or whatever, or visit people and such. So people can park on both sides of the road. And it is narrow. I do believe a car would fit if there was still people parked on both sides of the road. However, because that would, we would restrict the parking if that was the case. But I do really, look, I really appreciate the concerns. There has been the 6 objectives noted in the report, and I can understand that people don't want to see this getting any busier. They live there. They don't want to see this getting busier and growing around them. But at the same time, in my feeling, and from really looking into this, this is inevitable that things are getting busier in this area. It is the heart of Pakenham CBD almost. It is right adjoining that, right next to it. So look, I really appreciate the sentiments of all the councillors, and I note that I've heard majority of people to support this tonight, to the refusal. Look, I will go against that myself. My judged opinion from reading all the information, I think that the grounds for refusal of this, I don't feel, are very strong in the planning decision of making a decision over the planning scheme of the elements that are listed within, noting the community concern, which is an element that we take on board when we come to what's making our decisions as councillors. And I do appreciate that. And really, I don't have a big skin in the game either way, but I do think, I don't think this development is completely inappropriate. But I do respect and appreciate my fellow councillors who do feel that way. And so I acknowledge that and totally respect that, and for the residents there. But just wanted to put my 2 cents in, so to speak, and just share what my thoughts are from my observations of this. Thank you, councillors. Look, I'll now return to Councillor Ryan, the mover, to summarise. Thank you.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. And thank you to my fellow councillors for your support. This is a really important identity. I'm not against childcare centres, by no means. There is a need for them, but within the right place. This childcare package centre, this planning permit for this childcare centre, in discussion, it was compared to other childcare centres that are on main streets. There's a huge difference between main streets and a dead-end street, and it does affect residents in a totally different way. The residents are well aware of what's happening within our community. They're quite happy that Things are going up in Pakenham. We're advancing within our activity centre. A lot of these people are elderly people, and so the residents there have no intentions of moving house. At a certain age in your life, you can't afford to just get up and move and buy another place. No matter how much people think of that, it's not viable. So it's their choice. If you Google, it comes up that there are 52 childcare centres in Pakenham, and it names them, and 16 kindergartens, it names them. Now, whether that is viable information, but it is on the internet, and I think some of the residents get information from there, is some of their concerns. This childcare centre would have 76 children there. So that's a lot of noise when the children are outside, and children squeal and laugh and have fun. And some residents just can't cope with that. And so, you know, that's part of some of their concerns as well. And it would operate from Monday to Friday, 6:30 till 6:30 a.m. till 6:30 at night. I think in summarising this, as a councillor, we have to start looking at things and making decisions based on how we see the facts now. Not down in the future, but now, because this is what's come to council, and we need to make it based on not how our life is or what we do in our own personal life, but as councillors. And this is why I have put the motion out. I am stepping up as a councillor because I have listened to my residents that are concerned. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be passed, but it just means that I've put it forward. And I hope it does with my fellow councillors, that you will support me totally in this, because it is inappropriate within this street. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. I'll now put this to a vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. All those against? I note that is carried.
Can I call for a division, please, Mayor?
Thank you. Councillor Ross has called for a division. So all those in favour, please stand for me. I note Councillor Ryan, Councillor Moore, Councillor Ross, Councillor Owen, Councillor Radford and Councillor Cameron. Please sit down. All those against, please stand. And I note Councillor Davies, Councillor Kowalczyk and myself, Councillor Springfield. Thank you, councillors. Moving along, next item on the agenda is 6.2.1, the annual report for the 2021-22 financial year, withdrawn by Councillor Kowalczyk. Councillor Kowalczyk to move.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the following. That Council 1 endorses the annual report 2021 to 22. 2, notes that the annual report fairly represents Council's operations, financial position and Council's performance for the 2021-22 financial year. And 3, notes that the annual report meets the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Ross. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Before going back to the mover and the seconder to speak on this item, we're going this item tonight requires a little break of protocol from myself. And so for doing that, before going towards any other speakers to comment on the annual report, I'd like to take this opportunity to report on the implementation of the council plan, which is part of the Mayor's legislative responsibilities and a major component of the annual report. The council plan 2021 to 2025, adopted in June 2021, is council's key strategic document. It is an exciting 4-year strategy that sets an agenda for this council term and guides our response to long-term challenges and opportunities. Council undertook extensive community engagement to inform the development of the council plan, which also includes a long-term community vision for 2040. The plan details how we will deliver on this vision, and that is by focusing our efforts on fostering strong communities where we empower our communities to be healthy, connected and resilient, livable places where we support the creation of livable spaces and places that make Cardinia Shire a great place to live, work and play. Thriving environments where we value our natural assets and support our biodiversity to thrive. Prosperous economies where our productive land and employment land is supported to grow local industries. And being responsible leaders, practicing responsible leadership and good governance. Under each of these focus areas, the council plan describes our priorities, how we will deliver on these priorities, and how we will measure our success. Out of the 36 key initiatives, I'm pleased to report that 33 are on track, and here are some of the highlights to speak to. Under strong communities, the review of the livability plan was completed. We've attracted new health and social services to our area. An annual calendar of events celebrated our diverse community, its arts and its culture. We continue to advocate for funding for a multicultural centre. The Safer Community Strategy Review and the Community Safety Action Agenda was completed. The Together We Can initiative continued, including the delivery of the 2022 summit. For livable places, we advocated for increased investment for all transport modes. We commenced work, a community infrastructure plan, worked on a new facilities, including a sporting pavilion at Cooyrup Secondary School, a new public toilet at Upper Beaconsfield Reserve, a baseball pavilion at Tumuk Reserve, pavilions at Tumuk and Gembrook Reserves, sporting fields at Comley Banks Reserve, regional athletics at IYU Reserve, and feasibility and funding to upgrade Cardinia Life. Preparations started on an open space and active Cardinia strategy. Shared pathways and walking tracks were delivered, including Kenilworth Avenue in Beaconsfield, Denhams Road in Cooyrup, Rupert Street in Lang Lang, and Tumuk Valley Road Path in Pakenham. We worked towards a sustainable supply of social and affordable housing, started the Pakenham Town Centre streetscape project, reviewed and updated Council's road safety plan, and delivered on our Better Local Roads program through the Sealing of the Hills, the strategic sealed roads, and the Princess Highway intersection upgrades. Highlights from the council plan area of thriving environments includes our aspirational energy strategy, our waste and resource recovery strategy, future waste initiatives and curbside reform planning, the creation of a draft environmental sustainable design policy, implementation of our biodiversity conservation strategy, initiatives from the integrated water management plan, such as the Deep Creek Boardwalk and water monitoring systems, and ongoing works and community education for fire preparedness. Our prosperous economies focus was delivered by advocating for the development of green wedge management plans, implementing the food strategy, advocating for a Southeast Melbourne airport, driving investment in the Shire, advocating for the growth of the local education opportunities, protecting key heritage sites, including through Council's annual Heritage Grants program, and supporting economic development through initiatives such as What's On at Cardinia website, the Cardinia Shire Tourism Advisory Committee, business breakfasts, and the What's On Festival. And finally, we delivered on our responsible leadership focus by implementing the community engagement policy with more than 150 engagement projects for the year, reviewing the 10-year financial plan and adopting the council budget, implementing our advocacy plan, and reporting on our performance and council decisions. I'm truly honoured to be able to present these results, as well as to have led this council and be part of our community, a diverse municipality with so many enthusiastic and dedicated people who give time so generously to better the lives of themselves and others, family and friends within this community of Cardinia. We've celebrated award winners, recognised important events, and supported our community through storms and through the pandemic. We've delivered new roads, new facilities, and new services. We've supported our young people, our older people, our people from different backgrounds, faiths, and all abilities. I'm really pleased to present Council's annual report for 2021 and 22. So thank you, councillors, for allowing me this time to speak to this. I will now go back to Councillor Kowalczyk who moved this item to speak to this item next. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and I thank you for your wonderful presentation of that report. It is a fantastic report. I encourage everyone in the community to take a read. I will go through a couple of highlights for myself, if I may. Council has obviously prepared its annual report for the financial year 1st of July 21 to 30 June 22 to meet its obligations under Section 98 of the Local Government Act 2020. The annual report is the first progress report against our council plan 2021 to 25, so that's very exciting. And we know it comprises of 3 sections. The Mayor previously mentioned the 5 strategic objective areas we have under our council plan, and the annual report details our progress against those areas. And I'm just going to pick out some highlights from those 5 objective areas during the previous financial year. Under prosperous economies, our council further progressed a number of key precinct structure plans to encourage investment and employment opportunities in key areas across the Shire. We continue to work with local businesses and the tourism industry, and one of the outcomes of that partnership was the launch of the West Gippsland Food and Tourism Strategy. In thriving environments, we very recently adopted the Climate Change Adaptation Strategy, which will provide the guiding pathways to reduce the community's vulnerability to adverse climate events and promote the resilience of social, ecological and economic systems. We also endorsed the BioLink plan and, the Mayor mentioned, continue to implement actions from our aspirational energy transition plan. Under Livable Places, our Cultural Diversity Plan 2019 to 23 continues to guide our work, focusing on maintaining and strengthening networks, supporting our newest communities, building connections and promoting participation. The Culturally and Linguistically Diverse Advisory Group continues to meet and work closely with Council to progress projects that align to the plan, discuss challenges and opportunities for residents from called backgrounds and provide advice to Council. We also welcome the announcement of $2.5 million from the Victorian Government's Growing Suburbs Fund for 3 important community infrastructure projects. As part of Strong Communities, construction is well underway for our new Cardinia Youth Hub, which will provide fantastic support and services for Cardinia Shire's growing young population. Our Mayor mentioned the Powerhouse Together We Can team. They continued their work to stop, prevent and end family violence in Cardinia Shire. And we also adopted the Gender Equality Leadership Commitment Statement, which was fantastic. And finally, in Responsible Leaders, councillors will remember we adopted the Council Budget 2022-26 following internal review and community consultation. The Financial Plan and the Revenue and Rating Plan were also adopted. These key financial documents will enable us to deliver on the Council Plan while continuing to meet community need. I'll now move to my seconder to give him the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. I'll now go to Councillor Ross to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk, for withdrawing this item. And it is really important that we get a whole view of this document. Some of the challenges that are facing council, I'd encourage residents to get a copy of it. It's a really well put out document. It's really easy to read. Some of the challenges we have on council, for those in the community who don't realise, we have 255 bridges and major culverts. We have 828 kilometres of footpaths. We have 769 kilometres of sealed roads and 847 kilometres of unsealed roads. We have underground drains to be maintained, 938 kilometres. We also have 266 playgrounds that we maintain. We also have 37 toilet or amenities for the community to use within inside Cardinia Shire. We have we also have parks and reserves. We have 1,551 hectares of parks and reserves that we also need to maintain. It's good to see that our libraries borrowed out last year over 392,000 items out of our libraries, which is great to see them being used. We do have some challenges in future, and if you go to the next page, you can see that for every $100 that ratepayers spend on their rates, there's about 40% or just under 40%, 39%, which is spent on community infrastructure and roads and pathways. And if you go back a little bit further in the document, you'll find out that we're one of the lower spend on employee and wages. I think we're roughly about 40% of what our rateable we charge in rates in wages, which is but by having that smaller amount of spend on that, which is a real challenge to try and keep developing with the community growing, but at the same time that allows us to do all of those other things I just mentioned in a way that the community can see. There are some councils who are up around the 60%, almost 70% in wages for every rateable dollar. Some more highlights I could note out of the document. People will see that our ageing population is growing, and in the last 5 years it used to be somewhere around about the 16% of our population going back 5 years ago for those who are 60 years and over. We've already gone to, I think, almost 22%, and we're about to go to 27% within 5 years. And this is the direction that council, as we evolve and we change as a community, we need to embrace the changing in the community and provide the services that are needed for those who are moving in. Our population has gone from, it's about 124,000 now. Within 10 years, it'll be 176,000. And within 20 years, it'll be 192,000, which just goes to show the enormous challenge that's ahead for the councils in the future to work with the community, try and make sure we can do the things we need to do some of the things we'd like to do, and the challenge of being able to service the community in a way that will be really meaningful and will assist them in their lives. I think this is a really good document. Anyone should have a read, and if you've got any questions, I'm sure if they come to the council meetings, our staff are always here, and the councillors, you can always ask us some questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? Councillor Radford.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to highlight one thing in particular. One of the reasons why I came onto council was to make a difference in the access and inclusion space. So I was really proud that council developed the Disability Access and Inclusion Action Plan, which was launched mid-year. With an AFLW, as in wheelchair football match between Hawthorn and Richmond. And I'm really proud that as a council, we put in so much time and effort into that plan so that in the future, our infrastructure is acknowledging and including people of all abilities so that we all feel welcome within Cardinia Shire. So I just really wanted to highlight that plan that was developed this year, and thank you everyone for being involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this item? There being none, I'll go back to the mover, Councillor Kowalczyk, to summarise.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you also to Councillors Ross and Radford for your contribution. I mean, picking highlights, you know, there's enough highlights you could literally fill a book with it. So it's pretty easy to do, but it is nice to hear from, that was the point. It is nice to hear from my fellow councillors around what pleased them, or one of the highlights for them in the past financial year. The Shire of Cardinia's annual report for the 2021-22 financial year is presented to Council as required by the Local Government Act. Council's financial position remains sound, with the Victorian Auditor General's Office providing an unqualified audit opinion on the financial and performance statements. The annual report fairly represents Council's operations, financial position and Council performance for the 21-22 financial year. I want to thank my fellow councillors for their efforts, as well as our CEO, our GMs and our officers. And finally, I want to acknowledge and thank our community. And I do encourage everyone to read this report. After all, you're the reason we are here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. We'll now put this to a vote. Councillors, all those in favour, please raise your hands. I declare that carried. Thank you. Moving along to item 6.5.1, community engagement update, withdrawn by Councillor Owen. Councillor Owen, the move.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council notes the community engagement activities being undertaken this month.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Ross. I'll now go back to Councillor Owen, the mover, to speak first.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Community engagement is a process whereby council uses a variety of methods to proactively seek out information and feedback from the community, including their values, concerns, ideas and aspirations. Where possible and when required by legislation, council will include the community in the development and delivery of identified initiatives and projects. Sorry. This practice establishes an ongoing partnership, ensuring that community members continue to shape council's decision-making and implementation process. Council community engagement policy sets out council's accountability for community engagement practices. The policy meets the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020 and council's commitment to undertaking best practice, high quality community engagement activities to receive input, feedback and ideas from the community on council projects, services, plans, policy strategies and other council's decisions. So this is a regular report to council on a monthly basis. And I just wanted to highlight some of the activities that's happening in September and to mid-November. So there's 4 areas that we've engaged the community in or will be engaging the community in. That is roads, the Better Local Roads project, Sealing the Hills. So that includes the Hillside Dorchester catchment, Hillside Road, Edmonds Road, Haven Court, Haylock Avenue, George Street and Dorchester Road, Salisbury Avenue. So we've had drop-in sessions in September at the Cockatoo Community Hall, and also we've been also doing the roads, Mulcahy Road, Pakenham consultation process. This project relates to the proposed formal closure of the western end of Mulcahy Road between Thulis Road and Moritz Street to motor traffic. Mulcahy Road, Pakenham, is located in the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning land. It runs from Thulis Road east past Purton Road. So council must resolve to do so in accordance with the Local Government Act. So we have sent out letters to residents of a radius of 500 metres of that intersection. So it's also on our Creating Cardinia page to seek feedback. And there's also a drop-in information session here at the Civic Centre on the 26th of October between 5 and 6 p.m. The third engagement opportunity is the planning scheme amendment for 49 Garfield Road, Garfield. The public exhibition period will commence on, has commenced on the 13th of October and will close on Monday, the 14th of November. So engagement opportunities to include letters to potential impacted residents in line with legislation. And the last one, which is close to my heart, is the project of the Bonnet Reserve, which comes under the Beaconsfield Structure Plan. And the Beaconsfield Structure Plan sets out strategies to improve the area around the cenotaph on the corner of Wood Street and the Princess Highway in Beaconsfield. So this has been a long-awaited project which has been earmarked in the Beaconsfield Structure Plan, which was adopted close to 10 years ago. So it's great to see this action item have finally got legs. So there will be on-site pop-up sessions on Sunday the 13th to the 11th between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and also on Wednesday the 16th of the 11th. There will also be a Creating Cardinia page to replicate pop-up engagement online, and also I understand officers attending the Beaconsfield Progress Association tomorrow night to talk about this project. So this is a great report. It really highlights and really explains council's engagement with the community on some much very important projects and activities. So I'll move so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll go to Councillor Ross to speak next.
Thank you, Councillor Owen, for withdrawing this. This is one of the most important areas in council is community engagement. And this is a multifaceted process with many spokes to the wheel that never used to be there in the past. If you go back 20 years ago on council, In fact, when I got here 14 years ago, even the councillors didn't have mobile phones. There was no such thing as they didn't have laptops. You had a computer you could have at your home. So therefore, back then, the community engagement was mainly done in person if they could go out to meet people, or it got posted out in the mail. Now the challenge is to use all the different mediums with our staff to try and connect with the community. Now, almost everybody's got a mobile phone. People have access to emails now. We have social media where we get out to the community on our Facebook posts and our different blogs and our questions. So the real challenge is to try and make sure we're connecting with the community in as many ways as we can, because everyone will be connected in a different way and lives do get busier. So therefore, and with a lot of younger families and moving in the area and people driving in and out of the area for work, the challenge is to try and either catch people at home, catch people in the street or somewhere. So this is really good that we do keep upgrading on a regular basis our community engagement, and we look for models that are out there. We don't profess to have the magic wand that knows the best practice, but we always are looking for best practice. So if people in the community know better ways to do it, please come and let us know. We are trying the best we can to engage with the community so we can hear what your views are, because that's why we're here. Without the community, we wouldn't be here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? There being none, I'll go back to Councillor Owen to summarise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Ross, for your comments. It is important. I know it's hard sometimes to get every resident to engage with a council project. We've got to continue and persevere and encourage residents to have their say. It is really important because we do change projects or change direction, on, community feedback. So please participate in that. And this report talks about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I will now put this to a vote. All councillors in favour, please raise your hand. I declare that carried. Thank you, councillors. Next on the agenda is item 6.5.2, the quarterly resolutions report for July to September 2022, withdrawn by Councillor Kowalczyk. Councillor Kowalczyk to move.
Thank you, Mayor Springfield. I move that Council note the report detailing implementation of Council resolutions for the period July to September 2022.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Radford. I'll go back to Councillor Kowalczyk to speak to this item first. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Councillor Radford, for your second. I'll just begin with some background information contained in the report. It notes that the CEO is responsible for ensuring that Council decisions are implemented without undue delay, and when requested, to report to Council in respect of the implementation of these decisions. The attached report informs the Council about the execution of these decisions and in addition provides transparency to the community. All items listed in the report have been actioned appropriately. I withdrew this item for one main purpose, but I will touch on some other items, and that is to close the loop of the petition regarding public toilets at Eaststone Reserve, and that is the first item that is listed in this report. The community consultation is now complete and was done in conjunction with the local residents group, and that was one pleasing part. To see Council continuing to engage and work with our residents groups in the Shire is very, very good. I met with the relevant officers last week and their advice is that there is not significant need for a public toilet at Eaststone Reserve. The crux of their argument relates to the reserve being classed as a neighbourhood level park, which is a decision made by officers based on the open space strategy, which I believe is currently under review. I disagree with that rating, given a neighbourhood level park for me evokes images of a playground and a swing and is relatively small in size. Those in the community who know will be aware Eaststone Reserve is a large reserve in respect to the urban environment that surrounds it and is more comparable to Cardinia's big reserves such as Lakeside than to a small park. As a result of the petition, the petitioner will be provided a formal response from Council, so that is pleasing. Also, officers will review the categorisation of Eaststone Reserve as a neighbourhood park in recognition of its significance in terms of large open space for the urban Pakenham community and the Pakenham Hills ward, as well as the limitations it places on the park for work such as public toilets in the future. Public toilets at the reserve is something I believe needs to happen and something the community is asking for, but further work needs to be done before it can become a reality. Some other decisions that have been enacted during this period are the appointment of Deputy Mayor Councillor Radford as an alternate member of the Audit and Risk Committee. That happened as soon as it was adopted by Council. There's been the adoption of a number of new strategies. There's been an extension of terms for a number of contractors, also new contracts being awarded to others. A number of special charge schemes have been actioned, as well as closure on some town planning decisions. So, yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. I'll go to the seconder, Councillor Radford, to speak next.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk, for withdrawing this item. It is just a great summary of the council decisions and provides that transparency to ensure that council is implementing them. So it's great for the councillors, and I encourage residents to read through it as well. As I said, it's a great summary. I don't have anything further to add, as Councillor Kowalczyk highlighted very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? There being none, I'll go back to Councillor Kowalczyk to summarise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Radford, for your contribution. I don't have much more to add myself, other than to say that if you are curious about council decisions that have happened in previous meetings, sometimes it is a good idea to catch up on this report, as it can give you some up-to-date information on how the CEO and the team have been implementing council's decisions. So yeah, very good report. And I specifically wanted to withdraw it to highlight that petition to close the loop. So I thank the council for giving me the opportunity to do so. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. And councillors, we will now put this to a vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. I declare that item carried. Thank you. Moving up, next on the agenda is item 6.5.3, the major projects report, withdrawn by Councillor Davies. Councillor Davies to move.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council endorses the officer's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Moore. I'll now go back to Councillor Davies to speak first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Moore, for seconding. Thank you. Cardinia has diverse and exciting major projects, and our current active project list includes recreation reserve improvements, Coralline and Gembrook Rec Reserves, Cooirap Bowls Club are getting a club room upgrade, and there's also an extension of the pavilion at Pakenham Regional Tennis Centre, redeveloping sporting infrastructure, including the Cockatoo Southern Tennis Court and the IYU Recreation Reserve. There are numerous road upgrade programs, strategic road sealing the hills, Princess Highway intersection upgrades, and other road projects. We have drainage and bridge programs, footpaths, shared paths, and bridge upgrades all underway. There are building projects, Cannibal Creek Reserve, with a community centre in Garfield North, Cardinia's Youth Hub, and the Cockatoo Cottages. 2 early learning centre projects are underway, Kermboon Integrated Children's Centre and Town Nunn Integrated Child and Family Centre. Those are in the Timbertop Estate and on Brunt Road. We have Officer District Park, and as well as Council's program of works. As listed in the report, the Victorian Government and external developers are also delivering projects. The Hillsville Cooirap Road upgrade, Officer South Road is being upgraded from Bridge Road right through to the freeway. And in Pakenham East, the Averley site and the Ridgeley site both have a new Princess Highway intersection. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. I'll go to the seconder, Councillor Moore, to speak next.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Davies, for allowing me to. Well, I've got one item here that I can speak on. I want to speak on the Bunyip Recreation Reserve. They're doing the soccer and cricket field redevelopment there, and they're at that stage now where the site was stripped in September, and it's well on its way to being magnificent for the Bunyip Strikers Soccer Club, which is for juniors, male and female soccer players. It's a great event, a great pavilion they have there. So it's just the ground itself. The surface is being completely redeveloped to match the beautiful pavilion that's there for this club. That's the soccer club, and of course the Bunyip Cricket Club. There's a cricket pitch that's being inlaid into the into the surface. New Lux lights are going in. So I'm really proud of this thing that's going to be ready for next season, around February 23 next year. And it's been funded by council and by state government as well, so it hasn't been all council, but it's a great project that's going to look good next year. And I do note on the report here that they've made allowances with the changing of the surface to have a possible site for the Bunyip Stadium, the basketball stadium. It's a possible site. We're still working on where that may go, but they're allowing for that in the redevelopment of this land. But that's all I've got to say, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Do I have any other councillors that would like to speak this up? Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank you, Councillor Davies, for presenting this. Pakenham Regional Tennis Centre. It's going really, really well. The project is scheduled to complete in the second quarter of 2023, but I think it's ahead of time, and it's a relocation of the proposed extension for the Pakenham Tennis Club, relocation comprising of a steel frame structure, full height glazing, kitchenette, unisex toilet facility, balcony overlooking the courts, provision for two-persons lift, and a play area for the children. And really proud that this has moved on ahead of time. And I just keep my eye on it just to keep looking to be excited for the tennis players, because the tennis centre is an absolutely fantastic area to play. And the courts, some of the courts will be revamped in reference to senior players, and I think that's really important. And the only other one I want to mention is the new youth hub. I go past that every day as well to double check that it's running on schedule and how things are going. And you know, just talking to people in and around that area and watching the development. So very proud of that. Our youth are keen to for it to be finished so that they can get involved in some of the projects that are there. So, but yes, that's all I wanted to mention. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Would any other, Councillor Ross?
Thank you, Mayor. Something that I drive past at least 2 times every day is the IYU Recreational Reserve, the athletics track, which is being built. I believe we've got some sort of camera there that's taking a time-lapse view of it as it's being built. Look, that's a wonderful facility. Schools will be able to use it within Cardinia Shire instead of having to drive all the way down to Cranbourne or closer to Melbourne. It'll be an all-weather track. The athletics club have been waiting patiently for years and years for the facility. If anyone ever went down and had a look at the facility they got now, it's really tired. It's been there probably 50 or 60 years, and it's desperately needed, and that space can be used by the clubs that are down there at the moment. So this is going to be a really, really good space for anyone who likes athletics or wants to be involved in anything like that. And the whole facility down there is an absolute testament to council and the usages of it for the soccer facility down there as well. It was used, as we called it, Camp COVID for a period of time in the car park. That was our testing station where people could drive in and out in the big car park down there for the last couple of years. So it's a really well used area. And we look forward to some dry weather so they actually can complete it. We're hoping with the Growing Suburbs Fund, we might be able to get some funding for a pavilion for them so they don't have to share it with the soccer club and walk around the other side. So anyway, we wait to see if that'll happen. Usually we do pretty well out of the Growing Suburbs Fund, as we have that many people moving into the area that they don't have much choice but to give us our full allocation most of the time. Unlike inner Melbourne councils, which don't quite have the growth that we do, who quite often only get half of what they request. Even their sport and rec grants, they only get half what they ask for at times. I know that down in Monash. They often don't get what they need, so they can't go ahead with their projects. Anyway, that's just one of my highlights in the area. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Radford.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Davies, for withdrawing this item. I just wanted to highlight one thing, which is the Bayview Road intersection upgrade with the open community consultation from LXRP. There's been a lot of talk about Station Street being closed and people concerned about getting through to the other side. So I just really wanted to highlight that the Bayview Road highway intersection will be a fully signalised crossroad with the southern leg of Bayview Road being constructed and connecting into the development to the southwest. Ultimately, the southern leg will connect to the Monash Freeway via the Officer South Road interchange. So that'll be a major connector road through to the freeway. So it's not going to matter too much that Station Street gets closed. It'll just be the timing of how everything happens. So this project is scheduled to be completed by the end of June 2023. And people in the area would have noticed that works have commenced. This has included earthworks and drainage. Drainage was an issue with the rain that we had the last few days. Bayview Road would have been flooded like this time last year. Fortunately, works have already started on the drainage and we have no flooding. We've been able to get right through on Princess Highway. So it's a very exciting project and I look forward to watching it develop and then be completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Would any other councillors like to speak to this item? Councillor Ross?
If I can indulge in the second one. Just something I've noticed in the report, Mayor, is people who don't think that recycling is really good. If you have a look at under the McGregor Road, Soldiers Road, Hobson's roads, there will be 1,500 tonnes of recycled glass going into the pavement on the building of that road. So therefore, people who do recycle and take it seriously, you can see that in Cardinia Shire, our contractors using that much of the recycled glass to put back into the pavement. So when you drive on the road, instead of using virgin material that comes out of the ground, we're using recycled material that we can reuse. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. I might just say a few words myself. Councillor Owen, please. Yeah.
Sorry, Mayor. Thank you. I just want to talk about the roads projects, particularly in Beacon Hills Ward, if that's all right. Mount Burnett Road, Mount Burnett. This is the construction of the Mount Burnett Road from Hillsville Coorab Road, Pakenham Road, to the existing sealed road near 205 Mount Burnett Road. So local residents have been contacting me over the last year or so because it has been delayed than what the original timeframes were given to the community for various reasons regarding tree removal permits, etc., etc. But the planning permit for the removal of the vegetation has been submitted. Project is due to be tendered in November 2022, so just a month or two away. So this is a really big connection, and this is what the sealing the hills is all about, and our other roads program is about, you know, making those connector roads, sealing those connector roads, and that is providing a big link between Pakenham Road and Jambrook Road. So I look forward to that. Telegraph Road, another road that is also a connector road. The project is on hold as the scope of the project is being reviewed, but the report says we hope that it will start in early 2023. Activating Siri, I think. So that's good. Armstrong Road, this is a special charge scheme in Upper Beaconsfield. Construction has been delayed for various reasons, but we hope that it will be completed by the end of this month. So it is nearing completion. Weather has adversely impacted the progress of this road. And finally, the Stony Creek package. This involves construction of Morris Road, Burton Road and Young Street, Beaconsfield Upper. Includes pavement, asphalt, wearing surface, curb and channel and underground drainage. So this project is in the final stages of the design process and scheduled for tender in December. Construction is scheduled to start in early to mid 2023. So these are very good projects, much needed projects, and thank you to the engineers for working through these much needed works. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. And good job getting in there quickly, because I was going to talk about Mount Burnett Road, and I would hate to steal your thunder, but it's such an important road in our community, that I fully support that. We had in the previous times when we implemented this project was one of the roads that we did work together to put forward and make sure that it got a good look in. And I do note that it has been delayed several of these more connector roads due to some of the ecological designs and the planning to go through that. But some of them are getting off the ground now, and there's one of those ones that I'm going to be very happy to go and do a first drive with you, Councillor Owen, when this is finally done, because it's really going to connect. And Councillor Moore, because it really does help connect from Pakenham Road to Gembrook Road. This road itself is only 1.5 kilometres off the top of my head, I think, and it's the last piece of dirt if you're trying to do like an east-west linkage, from anywhere from Emerald Beaconsfield Road across Paternoster Road and through there. And it is, all the way across. And it's so important to, as we progress in council, to deliver projects like this that will better see our communities connected, especially in these highly fire-prone areas. So important. So it's one of their greatest achievements I think we've done as a council, and I really look forward to a number of these projects that are implementing now that we can see listed here. There is a number of projects that are currently across the hills that are engaged. They're having community engagement at the moment. A number of them that will start over this summer period. A number of the catchments, and it's going to be great in the next couple of years when we finally come to this end of this council term in 2 years' time to have seen a number of these off the ground, a number of these under work, and a great achievement for our communities there. Just a quick note to mention too is the Gembrook Pavilion, which, I just need to say a few words because this project was delayed for so many reasons along the way, and COVID, and then implications from COVID onto the builder that was nearly there, and then that had a huge hurdle or hiccups they faced. I'm not sure which words I should use exactly, but this project got really delayed. But the victims of this project were the football netball club that utilises this ground, this facility that had to be delayed for so long. They now have a fantastic facility. They have occupancies being given in September. They got to host the last series of the finals in September and utilise the ground and the facilities for this. And I know it is overdue, and I empathise with all the community up there, but it is a great project to have delivered for the Gembrook community and Cockatoo community up there, and it's so great to see, and it's noted in the report. It's done and dusted. Fantastic. Now, thank you, councillors. I'll now go back to Councillor Davies to summarise. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Springfield. And perhaps we should get a minibus to check out all these great new roads. It's incredible effort, and a huge thanks to the staff. Two projects that are quite close to my heart within the ward of Tumark is the Officer District Park, which will ultimately include a skate park, walking tracks, a downhill mountain board track, parkour, a cafe, and we had some delays. Unfortunately, funding that was expected didn't come through, but a revised scope was presented and the tender is still under evaluation. And we're expecting construction starting this calendar year. So thank you very much to the team for that. And whilst not listed in the report, the planning for the upgrade to Cardinia Life is still progressing by our hardworking recreation planning team. And there are 3 new signalised intersections for Arena Parade, Thurles Road, McMullins Road with the Princes Highway, which are in detailed design stages. These will be delivered once funding is available, and funding that will be sourced from developer levies. The council officers have also advised that across the sector, the supply of materials and other logistics is still affecting our project delivery, and extended impact from COVID, but also the current unpredictable market conditions. I understand council's project managers are working closely with their contractors, minimising the impact. and looking at initiatives to assist in fast tracking our construction. I do want to thank them for this commitment. There is a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's appreciated. I'm, as usual, in awe of the sheer quantity of amazing work happening right across our Shire. So I'd like to conclude by expressing my thanks to our staff, suppliers and contractors, our funding partners and our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. I'll now put this to the vote. All councillors in favour, please raise your hands. I declare that item carried. Thank you. That concludes discussions for all the agenda items withdrawn tonight. So thank you, councillors. I'll now move on to councillor reports and ask if councillors have any matters they wish to report upon. Councillor Radford.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we have all been busy, and I just wanted to highlight two things. I'd like to congratulate Cardinia Council on the GSEM advocacy launch, the Greater Southeast Melbourne Councils group. This was a launch held at the Cultural Centre. I was going to say Civic Centre. I knew that wasn't right. The Cultural Centre, presenting the advocacy package of these 8 councils to our state before the state election. So all the candidates know what we're wanting, what the state government knows what we want. And it was a great event, well attended, great speakers. And so I'd just like to thank everybody who was involved in putting that together, and for Cardinia Shire Council for hosting this really important event. I also just wanted to highlight the recent MAV Awards, and I know there'll be some other councillors who are mentioning it, but I just want to congratulate Councillor Graham Moore on receiving a 10-year service award, and congratulate Councillor Brett Owen for his Mayor, now I never say this right, Mayor Emeritus Award. Did I get that right? Close enough. 3 times a mayor, I like to say. It was really fantastic to be able to be there that night and celebrate your service. It's important what we do, and the time and the effort that you've given up to your communities and the great work that you've done for your communities should be celebrated. And I was really happy to be there with you. So I just wanted to congratulate you both publicly on receiving those important awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Radford. Councillor Kowalczyk.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll also be brief. I just want to second Councillor Radford. I had the opportunity to attend the MAV Gala dinner with my fellow councillors, so including yourself as well. And yeah, it was a real highlight for me to see my colleagues be recognised for their fantastic service. So I just want to congratulate Councillors Brett Owen and Councillor Graham Moore. Well deserved. The Seniors Dance Festival event. Fantastic event. I know Councillor Ryan was there, Councillor Moore, Councillor Cameron, Councillor Ross. I think that's everyone who was there. Fantastic event put on by our Ageing Well team. And yeah, it was really nice to see a lot of people in our community get out, spend time together, have fun, get a sweat on, have a boogie. And yeah, it was a cracking event. I saw some of our councillors had a dance. Councillor Cameron and I had a brief dance, and it was really fun. It really was. So I think our team did a fantastic job with that. And the volunteers involved did a fantastic job with that too, more importantly. But I'm sure other councillors will be able to provide a little bit more detail around that one. I left that event early to go to the Cultural Centre with Councillor Owen. We went and saw the Cardinia Civic Concert Band. I want to thank Anna for the invitation to go see them. They are fantastic, blow your socks off, really high quality. So well done to the Civic Concert Band. And just in the interest of wrapping it up, yeah, GSEM was hosted by Cardinia Shire Council, was hosted by our Mayor, our CEO and our Deputy Mayor, and I think we did a fantastic job, and all the feedback I got from other councils was really good. Everyone was happy. Everyone thought we did a fantastic job, and we certainly punched above our weight. So well done us. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kowalczyk. Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the congratulations. It's very it was an honour to be there, sharing the honour table with my fellow councillor, Councillor Owen. It was really good, the summit, the conference. But I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to bring something else up at the time to send our regards out from our fellow councillors to the mayors who are suffering up our northern friends from the northern local government areas that are suffering in these extraordinary floods at the moment. And we know exactly how they would feel when we had the fires here, the Bunyip Complex fire here. I remember exactly how it was as a mayor at the time. So I just wanted to do a big shout out to the concerned. I spoke to a lot of the councillors that night who are from up the Mitchell area, Campaspe areas where the floods are really extreme up there. So I just wanted to do a big shout out to them from us of support, because we know exactly how they feel. I wish I was there that I could go and help. But I'm just not going to dwell on the past. I'm going to go on the forward, which is on next Wednesday. We've got the second event of the Seniors Week, which is the Jazz Day at the Cardinia Cultural Centre, which will be. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a really great day, and I hope a few of the councillors are going to attend, because I'll be there to with the foot tapping and I don't know about the dancing bit, but we did enough dancing on Sunday. But thank you, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things that I've attended, like my fellow councillors. We attended the Seniors Festival, the Old Time Dance event held by the Rotary Club down at the Pakenham Hall. It was wonderfully attended. There's probably, there had to be over between 100 and 200 people there. People were having a really good time. 192, so I wasn't too far off. I was trying to be conservative. But the amazing thing was, after COVID, so many people are trying to get out now and mix with other people, and it's really good to see. And as a council, we had our aged wellbeing team down there to help the Rotary Club to make sure that they can get what they need. It's good to see council trying to connect in that way, and hopefully we'll be able to do more of it in future. I also attended the Kuirup. Sorry to steal this out of the ward councillors area down south, but we attended the Kuirup netball and football club change rooms, and club rooms, which have actually been open for they tell me for a long time, but they finally got round to actually making the official opening. I must say, I can remember the inception when we first went for the Growing Suburbs Fund down there to try and get in some money off Sport and Rec Victoria when I was mayor, and at the time, it was around the time of the last state election, so there was a lot of marginal seats, and the Minister for Sport, John Erin, came down, and it was quite amazing to see that the netball change rooms consisted of, and it was smaller than one of the new change rooms. The whole facility it had no hot water at all. It had no change rooms at all. It was just a little building that was put there years and years ago. And the upgrade of the seniors football, the Kuirup football and cricket club rooms. I can remember going back 14 years ago when our CEO of the day attended the West Gippsland Netball Association Grand Finals, which were held at Beaconsfield. And at the time, from anyone who's been to the Alec Purse area there on the corner, the netball court for the whole Beaconsfield football netball club consisted where there's now a tennis court at the very end, right next to the where the creek goes down. And he was quite amazed at the time that they had teams in nearly every single level in a grand final. And he actually said to them, "Where are the change rooms?" And they said, "There is no change rooms. We get changed in the car, or we get changed before we come." And he said, "Well, surely you must have something." And they had this box down the end that wasn't even. And they said, "Well, where do you go to the toilet?" And they said, "Well, over the socials facilities at the football club, they've got one women's toilet over there, so we can sometimes use that." Well, that invoked coming back to council and saying, this just isn't good enough. How can women have facilities that are so poor? Long story short, council developed a plan to try and redevelop all of the women's facilities in Cardinia Shire, even before it was fashionable, and we set the standard. So we finished up having the Home Park Road got their own netball pavilion, Officer Reserve got their own pavilion, and then we've set about trying to redo and maintain all of these netball facilities around the area. And Kuirup is one, and I must say it is absolutely amazing there, I met some members who were life members of the club who'd been life members for, I think, over 60 years. And up until 2 years ago or something, they had a club room that had no hot water or anything. So they were absolutely blown away by what's you can do now. And it was really good that council could get involved there and help out where we could. I also attended the, I've just got to get the name on my phone, on a picture, the Baba Buddha Jai Sports Pakenham Club. And they ran their 4th annual Kabaddi tournament. And they literally had thousands and thousands of people attend, probably over 10,000 people. And for those who haven't attended this tournament of Kabaddi, it's as big in India, this sport, as AFL is here. It gets beamed back to India, the people who compete live. 300,000 to 400,000 people watch it live on TV. First prize this year for the teams which came from all around Australia was $4,100. But the thing that impressed me most is they run musical chairs. First prize is $600. So anyone can go. It's free to go down there. They give you free food, free drink. They have free rides for the children down there as well. And they run amazing tournaments. They have usually they have volleyball tournaments down at Cardinia Life. They run the Kabaddi tournament. And I must say the soccer club are really good in allowing them to go down and use the facilities down there. I must say they do a really good job to try and make sure that they keep it all together, and it's a really well-run event. Anyway, that's the 4th year they've run that, and I'd encourage anyone to go down there, go down and have a look. It's a really good time, and you'll see a whole lot of people coming around using our facilities, and that's what it's all about, trying to encourage more people to use our facilities in the Shire, because we spend millions and millions of dollars building these things. We just need more people to use them. Anyway, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Ryan.
Sorry, Jack. Thank you, Mayor, through you. Again, it's always great to hear everybody else's, all councillors, what they're doing within their wards and outer wards as well. And it's always great for our community to hear that we are involved in a lot of things. One of the things I went to on the 1st of October was called Seniortivity. I had to get it right then. Seniortivity event, and the Men's Shed ran it, and it was at Living and Learning. And there were stalls there. There were garden stalls. There were Probus stalls and the CWA. So the event was about, again, about Senior Week and going out there and just connecting, networking and having a nice cuppa and a luncheon and just finding out what's on within community, Cardinia Shire community, and where to go for other things that some of the multicultural environment is not aware of. So that was a really great event. I really enjoyed that. On the 2nd of October, I was at the Cardinia Culture Centre for the art exhibition. We have some fantastic artists. If anyone hasn't been to our local art shows, please go, because, you know, and the artwork is on sale, so it's not overpriced. The one that I wanted to buy went before I finished seeing the artwork, the whole exhibition. So I was a little bit annoyed that there was only one particular painting that I was really keen on, but hopefully that artist will do another one next time. And one of the things this month from the 1st of October, which I've been actively involved in since probably back in 1970, and that's in reference to mental health. Now, October is National Mental Health Month, a timely reminder for us all to look after our mental health and well-being, knowing that it's been a difficult time for many people in our community. especially the uncertainty and the impacts that we have with COVID. It's more important than ever that we look after our own mental health. Mental Health Foundation Australia is running a range of online free virtual events this month. And it's up on the Cardinia Shire website as well. Residents can check out the website for details. If someone you know needs mental health support, remembering that there is support available. And we have a wonderful team that I've been working with in reference to mental health. We've got another mental health event coming up on Thursday, and we focused a lot on what we've achieved in mental health throughout council and throughout I've been interacting with Mental Health Foundation as well. And there's also some things coming out very, very soon, so keep your eye out. It'll be very interesting information. I think that the main thing is suicide prevention is one of the biggest issues that we have been dealing with, and we're finding that the numbers are going down because we're getting the message out there. We're breaking down the stigma, and I think that's really fantastic that we're doing that. We're also connecting with Mental Health Foundation with all the activities, and there's so many free activities on. There's concerts on, there's networking, there's all the information that you need to help you through, so you're not going to be alone. And it's not just about mental health or mental ill health, it's about mental health and well-being, which leads me into the last event of the day. And that was the Ageing Well Old Time Dance yesterday. And thank you, councillors, for coming along. Again, I thank the team. I've been working with the Ageing Well team for a while now. And it's about getting out there and showing the community that it doesn't matter what age you are, you can get out there and have as much energy. I tell you what, I couldn't keep up with the people. And there were dancers there that they whizzed me around, and I thought, please don't whiz me around, please don't whiz me around. And you know, because they were just so quick and I was so slow. But Councillor Moore and myself got up there and got into a few dances. We even had coaches, didn't we, at one stage, because we got our feet caught up and we just couldn't get the dance right. But we got involved, which was the main thing. There was at least probably about 120 residents that were there, and some of these, some of them came from Bendigo, Ballarat, Geelong, New South Wales, Leongatha, Frankston, all around Victoria, and they travel around for these dances. And one of the things that we did put out there that we'd like to see this happen at least once a month for them. And they were all very, very keen. So, and we would like more people to come along, especially younger ones, to see, because this is the generation. And then the next generation, we hope, will carry on with the music that they like, but can adapt the ballroom dancing there. But the ladies were all dressed up in their sparkles and their beautiful shoes and sparkly diamante shoes, and we were underdressed, weren't we, as councillors? But it was a fun day, and so I look forward to the next one, and hopefully the rest of the councillors will come along and enjoy it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Are there any other councillors that wish to speak? Councillor Owen.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, councillors, for your reports. Thank you for your comments also regarding the MAV Awards. Congratulations, Councillor Moore. But I want to thank my family that allowed me to do what I love in local government. So thank you for that. On the 25th of September, I attended a great book launch through the Australian Garden History Society. They've written a book on the property Goronga, which is a hill station garden in Pakenham Upper, the home of Elizabeth and Ian Fraser. It's a historic homestead, probably almost 150 years old, and a very historic garden. So the Australian Garden History Society did a tour, a visit of that property, along with Nobelius Heritage Park back on the 25th of November. So they did a book as well. So that really covers the history of that property, including Aboriginal history as well. So it is a really good book. So thank you, Ian and Elizabeth Fraser, for allowing us to access your beautiful home in Pakenham Upper. On the weekend, I attended Diwali at the Cardinia Cultural Centre. It was a great day. During the day, there was a free event for residents to attend, but at night, it was a great Festival of Lights light show at the Cardinia Cultural Centre, and that was free for everyone to look at from the lake. But also there was a dinner hosted by the Indian Australia Community Cooperative Incorporated, and it was just a really great night. That culture is so infectious, dancing. It was really good. It was great to see the cultural centre packed with lots of colour. I took my two boys and we had such a great time. It was really good, great food. So well done to them. Also attended on Saturday a great expo, the Girl Force Interactive Expo, which was run by multicultural youth students, mainly the AfriOz ILIAC group, the Girl Force Steering Committee, mainly the Pakenham Committee, and also Love Packs. And it was a really interactive and fun expo, which created opportunities for our cold and multicultural female and male champions, 8 to 35 years of age. And the expo will also showcased advocacy against family violence and violence against girls and women, and to also increase youth voices in closing the gender gap and reducing family violence. And it was amazing. I wish I took my little 3.5-year-old daughter there, because it was great to hear inspirational young girls talk about what they want to achieve in their life. And they were girls ranging from, I reckon, 6, to 18 and young adults. And it was really inspirational. I hope, I understand it's going to be an annual event, and I think it would be really great for all councillors to get to that. That was at Outlook at Pakenham on Saturday. It was a really great event. So thank you for the invitation. I had the opportunity to open it, not open it, but speak it on behalf of the Mayor. So it was really good. On the 4th of October, sorry for going back, I attended the Beaconsfield Neighbourhood Centre AGM, where we saw the President, Tanya Baxter, retire. She's moving on to other things, but thank you, Tanya, for your service as President of the Beaconsfield Neighbourhood Centre. It was really great to see a new President elected, Noel Wyatt, and also a new Secretary. So thank you for the invitation. And finally, as what Councillor Kwasik did say, on the weekend, we saw the Cardinia Civic Concert Band present their movies and musicals. It was a great day, and it was really great because this is the first time really since COVID that they've been able to really perform, and it's a great group. The Cardinia Civic Concert Band dates back to the 1880s. They've had different names in the past, the Pakenham Concert Band, and when Cardinia amalgamated, they from the Shire of Pakenham, they turned into the Cardinia Civic Concert Band. But it was really great that they could come together, perform, do what they do best at the Cardinia Cultural Centre. So well done to them. It's definitely got probably more young people involved, which is really great. So they sang some, not sang, they performed. There was a bit of singing, but they obviously performed soundtracks from musicals and movies. So thank you to them. Thanks so much. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Owen. I'll now go to Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mayor. And just very quickly, I have attended a couple of things, the Old Time Dance, which was wonderful, the opening of the netball and change rooms for Kuirup Football Club, and they are magnificent buildings. I did go to the games that Councillor Ross spoke about, and it was fantastic, almost a British Bulldog kind of arrangement it was, and yeah, everybody made you so welcome. It was just wonderful. And I think that's about it for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Look, I'll mention a few quick things that haven't been mentioned by anyone else. There's a whole lot there, but I think it was a great night tonight, councillors. We got to tick off a lot of things, and as you know, we're now in daylight savings. You know, the spring weather's kicked in. It's much more accessible for us to be out and about, and for community groups to be having these wonderful events. So, but just quickly, we had a great little event to launch Thompson's Road Advocacy, which is such a huge project. If we can get this over the line with members, with representatives from Casey Council, the City of Grey Dandenong, the Mayor, Jim Minetti was out there to meet with us, and myself and our representatives, really to push the point home of it's not about if the extension gets done, it's when it gets done. And the sooner this gets done, the better it's going to be for all our communities that are south of the freeway, within Cardinia Shire and in Casey, and in the neighbouring southeast in the suburbs, because we're going to really connect. It's going to open up initiatives for business development, for connectivity, to just get off the freeway, just to make a quick trip down Thompson's Road. So that Thompson's Road extension, it is one of the greatest projects I think we could see in the future for our Shire and this whole community and region delivered. So I'm really honoured to be a part of trying to push that. Jembra Community Centre had an AGM just last Monday that I attended, and we spoke a bunch about Mount Burnett Road earlier. Well, the President will be very happy to hear us speak of this. John, who's been advocating for Mount Burnett Road for a long time, but they're a great group, community-driven group. There's been in their, I think, existence 22 years, I think it might be now, up there for their AGM. So it was great to really support them in their continued work, you know, looking after that community centre. A great event that a number of us attended was a Cardinia Community Leadership Program, the immersive experience at the Gurdwara Sikh Temple in Officer. So I really need to put a shout out to how great it was to see Harpreet and all these people down there that run such a wonderful facility out in the Officer Sikh Gurdwara. And it's great. It's been a little while since I've been there, and it's really awesome to see the development of this facility since we granted this planning permit, you know, last council term, but how they've come along. They're constantly investing. They're constantly looking at upgrading their kitchen facilities, their hall facilities now, how they can cater. They reckon they can deliver 1,000 meals a day when needed. And that's what they aim to do. They deliver food for the community, compassion and empathy, regardless of what your religious beliefs are. And it was really an honour to go down and spend time with Harpreet, and with the past alumni, which Councillor Radford is one from the Community Leadership Program there, and the current participants of the Community Leadership Program, which is a great initiative that Cardinia Shire Council does. But really just to have the opportunity for Harpreet and his people to speak about their faith. And it is a beautiful, inclusive and open faith, the Sikh faith, and they speak so elegantly about it. So it was a great learning experience for all of us down there. And just lastly, just want to mention, we had this Shire tour a few weeks ago where we got to visit a number of wonderful businesses around, you know, to see what it's like on the ground. These businesses that employ hundreds and maybe thousands of people, you know, connected together. Places like Campbell's Construction and the Rotomold facility down in Pakenham there, plastics casting facility was amazing. The asparagus farm, Councillor Moore might help me. I can't remember what the asparagus Motta. Yeah, Motta. And it was wonderful to see. They had hundreds of people there almost working on the floor, packing the asparagus. It gets shipped out within 24 hours. It can be on a plate in Japan. Because that's how high quality we're pumping out of our communities down there in Cooey and the surrounds. And we finished off at Cannibal Creek Winery, which is another wonderful facility, wonderful place that we have for tourism. And so I encourage all of us and the community out there to visit and get to know your backyard, you know, because we really do have some great offerings here and some great business initiatives which really help make this the wonderful place to live, the Cardinia that we keep talking about. And it's only through working with community and the community leaders, the business leaders, that help to deliver this together. So a huge thank you to all those people that participated in that and to everyone out there doing such things. Great, thanks councillors. That's enough for my little spiel, but it's been wonderful. So I'm just moving along for our agenda and presentations of petitions. And councillors, I'll just ask now if there's any petitions you wish to present. There being none, I'll move forward, and that concludes tonight's meeting. Before closing, though, I would like to take this opportunity, as it is the last meeting of the mayoral term before we have the statutory meeting next month, and just would like to thank you all for the past 12 months of the support I've received from the councillors here and in this chamber. We've done a lot of great work together, and we've really helped to deliver for our community through the time that the end of last year was still the pandemic and we didn't know what was coming, and we've helped to see it through. I'd also really like to have a huge thank you to the CEO and to all the GMs and all the great staff in our organisation that have helped to work with me and with the councillors to fulfil our roles as best we can. And it is a real team family effort here. It's been an honour and a privilege to be able to fulfil this role again for a second time. And I do love the Cardinia family that we have and really respect all the help and everything that we get together as the team of 9 councillors, but also the support we receive from the CEO and our wonderful staff. So thank you all. It's been it's really been a wonderful year, and look, I look forward to the next 2 years to come of this council term still, and see whoever it is that takes the role of mayor for the following year, and work together to continue to deliver. We're halfway through our council term, councillors, and I think, let's have a strong finish and really make this as, the best outcomes that we can delivered by the whole end of it. So just want to have that moment to thank you all and to thank everyone else that's listening. So thank you. That was lovely. Thank you. Okay. Thank you again. And I now declare the meeting closed. Good night.